Petunia!
Have you been the victim of unfair treatment by a business or a corp?
Oh,
Has this ever happened to you?
I just needed to hear this little tiny bit.
It's a bone, Mama.
Scrooge saved Christmas.
That's exactly what I need.
Who are you? I am the ghost of Christmas way future.
I've already met the ghost of Christmas future.
I said way future, Scrooge!
What are you here to show me?
Christmas in the year 3050. Skeletrix and his bone brigade have enslaved the human race.
Hi.
And we need your help.
What are you talking about?
Bonies are slaughtering humans by the millions, taking their bones, using them to...
Are we watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No, we're right back to Boney's the best. Dude, it's so good. It's so good. On so many levels. It's amazing.
Friggin' bonies.
Now drink up some of that yellow goo. It'll give them some of your sense of humor.
Bash him, Scrooge, you idiot. Ha!
It's valuable to have their sense of humor when you're fighting them.
Yeah, I like that it was like snowing, and then I had to turn on my air conditioning.
Hi, Max.
Hi, Davidson.
Ice cube noise.
That's my boy. I got his shit all over the place.
You shouldn't let that guy shit all over the place. Because that's what you spend your money on when you're 12.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently he did that, and it's like the cool one that everybody wants.
Who all's here? Ninja champion.
Where's that wizard at?
He's a sorcerer.
Where's that sorcerer at?
Another dimension.
Space. Look, you don't want them on the planet with you.
That's where the game is.
You're a giant spider.
Yeah, get out of here.
Oh, we got Nishi.
I don't like heat.
Alrighty. Well, it sounds like we're all here. Just when it seemed that all hope was lost and the miasma was choking in around the party thicker than ever, Haas landed a well-timed and located blow. After the weight of the onslaught from the party combined, the artificer's eyes glazed over for the barest of seconds, and he lost concentration on the spell that he was using to keep Moth away, banished to a demiplane. Moth felt the crack in the spell's shell and pushed his will through it, reappearing suddenly. He stepped over the piles of bones, the many, many piles of bones, strode directly up to the artificer. The first casting of the cantrip Eldritch Blast, 2 baleful bolts shot out of his hands and just tore him apart. And as the figure of the artificer was laying on the ground, despite seeing his enemy driven before him, Moth let forth 2 more bolts, both striking directly into the artificer. Silence permeated for a moment. Of course, the clickety-clack of scaredy bony boys as they ran off into the darkness. 6 seconds of silence. Everybody sort of looking at each other and taking things in at Moth's feet. The thoroughly destroyed artificer draws in another breath and says, "You've done it. You should know this is not the first time that Breath's dogs have struck me down." And he sort of props himself up. "I want to know something. How did Breath manage to bend you to his will?"
He promised us a house.
Gold also.
Mostly the house in gold.
Yeah, it was gold.
Breath's dirty deeds. What did he say of me?
Will not hear of your disgusting, undead, mouthy words. Tell us the truth of matters, or I'll crush you to dust here and now.
A smirk across the lips of the artificer. His face continues to heal. "I see. Strange you did not mention betraying me, attempting to sell the mine out from under me, or stabbing me in the back."
While he's talking, can I do like an insight check?
Please do.
Okay.
It sounds like he's speaking earnestly. There is truth in what Breath said of us. Did he mention that we were both instructors at the Athanum Arcanum in Grimstar? We were not very familiar with each other before coming to Lubenek, but we discovered deposits, and as luck would have it, there was already a mithril mine in this town, and it was for sale. We purchased it and set to work. There's the miasma hurdle to overcome, but eventually I came up with the very diving bell that you hold in your hands there. He sort of points to you, Moth. In short order, we had more than enough mistrachite to sustain our research and afford us a hero's return to Grimstar, but I stumbled upon the truth of this mine's existence. I brought my findings to Breath, but he rejected them. You see, Unbeknownst to me, he had been attempting to find investors to expand the operations of this mine. The information that I presented to him would have dogged these efforts. What do you know of ley lines, or the weave? As you're watching here, as this exchange is going on, you're seeing some of the vigor is coming back. Parts continue to heal as you're speaking. The weave, as it is, flows across this prime material plane that we all inhabit. It is the source of all magic. Ley lines are like a conduit for the weave. Where 2 or 3 of these lines connect, you get a place of power. Grimstar lies at the intersection of 6 ley lines. Lubenek itself is perched atop the intersection of 2 such ley lines. The druids which oversaw this sacred place brokered a deal with the men who wished to excavate the mithril from under the ground. They moved their sacred circle away from this confluence. Without the rituals and ceremonies that they conducted here to keep the weave in check, its raw power began to react with the mithril, and it formed the very mistrachite that we sought, along with the miasma that forced the closing of this mine many years ago. I would work with Breath to return this mine to the druids.
And Breath favored industry over the return of the mine to nature.
He is a dwarf. It's in his blood. I urged him to do what was right, but he would not listen. He led me here into the mine, and when my attention was turned, he stabbed me in the back. Literally. As I lay fighting for every breath against the miasma, the doors of the mine slammed shut, and Breath left me in here to die. But before I expired, I cursed him. Something out there must have heard me. When I came back, I was no longer suffering from the adverse effects of that miasma. I was no longer possessed of the mortal urge to breathe. Ever since returning to this vessel, I was filled with a burning drive towards one thing: revenge. Kill Breath Jehurin. I could sense him. He began sending hired killers, footpads, mercenary warriors, deceived adventurers like yourselves. He sent them here to finish the job that he had failed to complete. Some perversion of the necromantic powers that granted me my revenant form seemed to be echoing around this area, something to do with the mistrachite.
A fascinating tale you weave. Is it thus that you control the gates to this place, or is this another deception of Breath Jehurin's?
As assuredly as I can sense Breath Jehurin's life force, he too can sense mine. Until I am truly destroyed, he will not chance to open those doors which he sealed shut behind you when you entered. I was the artificer, he's the rune master. That door is covered in runes that I cannot break through.
Deception.
If what you say is true, a great injustice has befallen you.
Gerder's going to step forward and use a cantrip of Mold Earth to hold him down. I feel like he's trying to buy time.
Well, he's monologuing for sure. As your hand paints an arc up him, the very ground leaps into action, secures first his feet and his ankles. The force of it hitting him pushes him back up against the wall. The rocks grow out around and hold him there.
Pitch is going to turn to everybody else and go, hey, I'm not above making a deal to kill them both. Kill this one, we'll leave. We'll go kill the other one. Nature is restored.
No! I must deal the killing blow.
Okay, how do we get you out of here then?
We've listened to this guy long enough. Let's smash him.
Pitch is going to turn to Moth and say, hey, do you think we could hide this guy in a bag of holding? If he goes to another dimension, Breath can't sense that he exists.
Breath won't open that door unless I am gone, removed from this vessel. All I ask is for a vessel to inhabit when I return. You must swear to provide me with a corpse outside of this cave that I may use to exact my revenge swiftly. Girder, in the early days of healing those in your population who were suffering from the sickness that's causing them that intolerable pain, there was some pretty macabre and frowned upon research that was around intentionally killing patients and then reviving them to see what happened. You did not participate in this research directly. You did, however, read about it afterwards. You would know that a revenant form claws its way back into the world to seek revenge against the one who wronged it. If the revenant's original original body was destroyed or if it is otherwise unavailable, the spirit of the revenant can enter into another humanoid corpse. However, regardless of the body that the revenant uses as its vessel, its adversary, the one that it has sworn vengeance against, always recognizes the revenant for what it truly is.
Okay. Cool. I'll relate about as much of that as I can to everybody.
Berdan's just trying to think if he's got any more bodies in that bag of holding.
There may be another way. I do recall something of a rite of transference. A soul that is guarded by a divine source has the highest chance of this succeeding. Essentially, you would strike me down with the methods that I will tell you, and one of you would open their body to my soul while I get my revenge.
You know what would be really cool is if we kill you, bring breath back,
Let's just kill him.
and then you can inhabit breath, and then kill yourself.
Pitch is going to twirl his mustache and nod knowingly at Berdan.
Yeah. Right?
I'd never thought of that before. No, he needs to. It needs to be a corpse.
What if we killed him?
No.
Berdan shrugs and he says, "What's your style?" Berdan's going to look at Ibrahim and say, "They would never suspect a paladin."
How are you even considering?
Well, let me ask you, Ibrahim, if we got out of here, what would you do? Would you let Breath get away with it?
We should take him to the local authorities.
Pitch sarcastically laughs almost directly in Ibrahim's face. He gives a
Berdan's going to turn to Pitch and say, "What about you, Pitch? Surely you'd be an excellent body to exact revenge with."
I really like my body, man. I really like having it to myself.
Berdan's going to ask the necromancer, the revenant, "You like this one?"
If I do this, I want everybody's cut of the gold.
What gold? We're going to kill the guy. He's going to be dead.
I want all of the gold. I want all of it. I want all the fucking gold.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
What are
Wait.
the odds Rutledge will simply allow us to murder his business partner?
What are the chances he even knows that it's going to be me murdering him?
Hoth shakes his head and just steps out of the conversation.
Berdan's going to look at Moth and raise his eyebrows inquisitively.
It could potentially be quick work should he occupy my body. However, it's already pretty crowded in here.
What about me? Would this be suitable?
Any of your forms should suit my needs nicely.
Don't do it.
Ibrahim, do you want to live?
I don't want to live if this is the price of living.
Oh, come now. There's fame and fortune on the horizon for you, my friend.
The diving bell flickers for a second.
Ugh.
Let's smash him. I have enough holy energy within my hammer to break whatever curse lives in this thing.
I only need a corpse provided in the town of Lubenek.
So we need to get out and get back in there.
Right. So we kill him, go out,
Mhm.
acquire a corpse. There's a stage in there that I'm not sure of.
Oh, we do know where to get a corpse. We got a fresh corpse. We actually have a corpse.
You this entire time, you've had a corpse handy, ready to go.
Well, he's probably being prepared for a funeral right now.
It would be difficult if he was being watched when the resurrection takes place, but when I'm done with his body, he can have it back. The mourners can still wet it with their tears. Girder, you watch as the molded earth confinements that you put him in crack and crumble away as he flexes against them. I hereby swear an oath to seek my revenge on you lot as well, if you do not hold up your end of the bargain. There, that should do it.
Dude, getting a corpse, not a big deal for us.
We'll just make one.
Just make one.
I like
What is your name?
My name is...
My name is Jones. Enema Bag Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm rolling one. No, I have one. I have to find my notes on it. Sorry. Dakin the Nimble. If you ask in the right alehouses and lecture halls that surround the Athenaeum Arcanum, they will know my name and know me by the reputation of the intricate artifacts that I was able to create during my time there.
How well did you know Merowyn?
Merowyn, a passing acquaintance. Why do you ask?
He betrayed us and, well, actually betrayed me, which sort of made him betray all of us.
I don't understand.
He's dead. He's dead. We killed him. He might actually be in the bag still.
He too was deceived. His master or his master's master, one of them sold this place out. The Druid's sacred space was at the confluence of the two rivers that flow by us here. This was his home. It was sold out from under him, his birthright given away before he was ever born. So he was using the forest to wage war against the town. I warned him against that.
There's too much deception in this town.
That is the legacy of Lubenek. So, what is it to be then? And he pulls his arm out of the earthen bindings, tearing part of his skin off. He holds out this bloodied, degloved hand towards one of you and says, "It only takes one of you to shake."
Don't do it.
Guys, I really like living, and I really
Don't do
and I
it.
don't have a problem killing somebody to bring him out to let him kill somebody else.
Berdan nods.
How could you, Berdan? How could you disgrace yourself like this? The others I can understand, but you...
He shakes on it, and he's like, all right.
You take the icy, wet hand in your own. Very well. It must be fire or radiant. Those two energy types, if it strikes the killing blow, will do me in. Before I go, though, as a parting gift, this was a gift that was bestowed to me that aided with my education.
Take your evil circlet.
This is a headband of intellect.
Berdan's going to look over at Ibraham and say, "You should probably start smacking him with that hammer."
Okay. Let's get him. Let's kill him. I have no use for your knowledge. I'm gonna smash him.
Oh my god. Hilarious. These guys just sit down and have tea while Ibrahim's in the background.
Make it count, Ibrahim.
Oh my god.
Everybody back up.
You level your Wand of the War Mage at him.
May this fire cleanse all deception.
You release this bead of energy. It streaks towards him. A huge gout of flame erupts down the hallway. You can feel the heat of it on your face. You're just at the edge of its radius. You squint against this explosion as your eyes have been getting used to the dim and dark light of this cave. Blink the ghost image of the explosion away a little bit and then look down the hall and you see nothing but scattered ashes and stone.
Let's take a look around quick. There might be something else down here that we haven't found yet.
Okay, we do a quick jog around the mine, and I loot all the bodies.
Your tone of voice there, Max, it sounded like the damages aboard this ship will come to $1 billion.
Oh, yeah.
You've shown me some fancy action here. The damages on this ship and the weapons aboard will come to $1 billion.
People will hate you, Steve, if you're too stingy.
Stingy. Ouch.
I assume that everybody's doing a little bit of looting, or is it just you, Pitch?
No looting at all.
So then it would just be Moth and Pitch. Berdan, did you say you were?
Berdan, you looting, baby. Berdan, baby.
Berdan. Oh no. Moth, you also find a traveler's journal that's bound with a hempen rope. It is written in the halfling language, the words that are formed with the common alphabet. You don't understand. So you guys make your way back to the door, looting and exploring as you go along, and you wait there for some time. Suddenly, a brilliant ray of light arcs into the group as the door begins to open, and blinking against the midday light, a stout dwarven man. Well, without my partner holding these doors shut, they were easy to crack after all.
Pitch is going to launch into an eloquent speech so that nobody has time to fuck it up.
Gag
Lord. Yeah, basically.
Is that an elegant speech?
Well and told. I'm glad that the doors were free to open after we bested this incredible creature in combat. No more shall you or anyone in this town have to fear from the diabolical evil that is the creature of the mind.
I have received information about a CIA dog.
And then he's going to suggest that they move to a place where they can get rest and a meal, because that's in keeping with what this guy knows of their party.
Make a deception check for me. Let's actually take a bio break.
Yeah. It's so hot, and I know I'm being dumb. I know I've said some dumb shit. I think it's because I'm dumb. Letting the days go by and the water something.
Okie doke. So Breath is thoroughly deceived. You can see that your words worked their beguiling way on him. Pitch. He kind of lowers his axe a little bit, puts it on the ground, and sort of leans on it and says, some of you look a little worse for wear.
Haas immediately strides past Breath and says, you simply must excuse me. I must make my way to the Red Clam, and I will find you later.
You guys did take him out, didn't you?
Should you venture forth into the now vacant mine, you'll find a very handsome crater where your ex-associate's remains can be found.
Perhaps we can discuss some of that when we get back to the Red Clam. So you guys make your way back to the Red Clam. Emerson Rutledge is actually sitting at one of the tables in the dining area of the tavern as you enter in. We'll jump over to Haas.
Haas, when he entered, immediately heads to the bar and asks the tender if there are bath services.
3 gold. I'll get you the wine and have it sent to your bathing room.
During this time, Haas is keeping his eyes peeled for the dwarven lady who caught his attention before the descent.
You don't see her.
Haas will go about his usual monasterial ablutions, quickly and efficiently. And having done so, he will take up the bottle proffered by the house and begin a search for that dwarven lady. Haas will make his way to the 3rd floor.
So you knock on the door. The dwarf from earlier answers it.
Pardon my appearance, madam. My party and I had some travails, but I am here now, and he embarrassingly offers the bottle, and Chaka Chaka puts on the music, as it were.
We'll fade to black as the two of you go about your culturally required copulation. The party arrives, the Red Clam Inn. You are beckoned over by Emerson Rutledge. Breath kind of thumbs over his shoulder as he's approaching and says, "It sounds like they did it." Emerson nods and says, "Very well. What was it that we had promised you again?"
2,000 gold and the deed to some land.
Pitch is just going to round it up to 4,000 gold.
Roll a persuasion check for me.
He's paying us fucking 4,000 gold.
He pulls out a leather document case and produces an official title to land and property issued by the City Council of Grimstar. Here you are. I have to admit, we're a little bit light. We were prepared for the agreed upon sum of 2,000. Breath actually starts getting a little impatient. He says, "Let's just get this over with. They're the first ones to come out of here alive. That's got to be worth something." Emerson gives him the eyes. "I'll give you the deed to the property. I will give you the 2,000 gold that we agreed upon, and I will draft you a letter of credit with a contractor, you might say." He slides the document towards you and produces several bags of gemstones and gold to go into the party kitty or divide up as you guys wish. Just make sure someone's keeping track of this.
Did you put the monies in your bag?
Yes.
I think we should probably split that monies up.
I mean, we will soon.
We'll find
Will we?
We'll find a rest.
Emerson is going to rub his hands together eagerly and say, well, door's been open long enough. You think that miasma stuff you told me about has gotten out of there? Can we go for a tour now? And Breath stands up. Oh, turns to you, Moth, and says, you want to talk shop, as it were? Look me up. I'm usually around the Red Clam here in the evenings.
Indeed, I will, sir.
Well, goodbye. And he just, like, storms off.
So I'm going to whisper to Pitch. Is he just going to the mine?
Yeah.
Should we follow him?
Berdan's going to take one of the napkins off the table and pull out a pencil and just write on it, body.
Sorry, did you say you take out an arcane napkin and put a beer on it?
Yeah.
It floats.
Sweet.
You gently push it, and it kind of carries across the table. So what are you guys going to do?
From the third floor. It does not last a long time. And that's how I began wandering with this party of fellows.
Haas, look, I don't care.
Say no more,
It's not
madam. You may ask for me in the mountain town of Melshire, where the Tree Mountain Monastery resides. And then hurriedly puts the towel from the bathhouse around his waist, the only garment he now has, hastily exits the room, down the stairway into the main area of the inn. Keep an eyes peeled for the party.
Someone should probably think about getting Haas a fireproof gi at some point. Your compatriots, somewhat recovering, enjoying the last of their lunch and the dregs of the drinks. Somehow there's a glass of beer that is floating around the table, and they're kind of like bouncing it from one person to another, laughing a little bit as it's going on.
Haas will casually join the group without any comment whatsoever and take up that floating beer and polish it back in one fell swoop.
It comes towards Girder, and Girder redirects it towards Pitch, and as it's coming across the table, Haas, you reach a little bit out of your normal range, grab the beer off the floating napkin and down it. The floating napkin continues over.
I take the floating napkin?
Anything that's not nailed down.
Try to.
I think we should probably get that body before any more time passes.
Yeah, we need to go get a corpse and throw it down at that mine.
So what you know is that Joseph's body was being taken to the Temple of All Faith. You guys have a body of a Stormchild barbarian in your bag of holding.
Well, I mean, that works, doesn't it?
You guys have the fucking moral compass of the two boobs from Weekend at Bernie's. Like, as far as being comfortable around dead bodies go, you guys are just like, it's Bernie.
We're walking towards the All Faith Temple. Pitch is going to suggest that Ma cast invisibility on Haas and Pitch, and they will take the bag of holding and take the body, put it into the bag of holding, and sneak out since they are the quietest of the lot.
Moth will agree that plan has potential for sure.
I will not be party to your corpse dealings, Pitch. There's a strange glow about Haas.
Pitch makes a mental note to not give Haas any of the money he has in his bag.
Since I'm already casting the spell, it would make sense for me to accompany you, Pitch.
So Haas is just going to discreetly elbow Ibraham and say, "What say you we excuse ourselves to the surly gull while these goofs go about their shenanigans?"
Well, I'm not one for drinking, but when you compare it to the alternative, I'll gladly walk with you.
Corpse molesting?
Yeah.
Let me check my paladin manual for how much interest I have in that. 1 second.
Page 1, do not molest corpse.
Girder, what are you going to be doing?
I'm going to go drinking with the boys.
Can we discuss perhaps Berdan being a distraction?
Or to take a watch?
Berdan, they don't need you for their evil deeds. Join us for drinks.
Yeah, Berdan is going to hand pitch the bag of holding and come along, but more so for backup if anything goes wrong. From Wilhelm's, is there a window that I can watch or like look at the All Faith Temple from? I'll go down into the shop.
Pitch and Moth are headed towards the Temple of All Faiths. Berdan peels off from the two of you with a nod, and the two of you disappear and get ready to enter the temple. Berdan, as you enter into the dimly lit basement, you can hear, just a minute, I'll be with you in a... And then there's this big, loud, clattering noise. And, I need a minute to clean this up. You kind of like turn around and look out the window and see your two compadres underneath the shadow of the entrance of the Temple of All Faiths. You blink, and a moment later, they're gone. The street over, seagulls flying around. You see actually two seagulls fighting over the carcass of a dead smaller bird. They look like they are surly gulls as you head towards the surly gull. Girder riding on Haas's shoulders. You can see out over the river the road that you guys were following that brought you to town. There's things moving out there. Men marching and a dust cloud as the Imperial Army marches past Lubenek towards their fortress in the direction of Grimstar. And that's where we will wrap things up this evening.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sweet berry wine.
Alrighty, y'all have a good night.
You're wicked. Thanks, James.
GG, guys.
Love you
Yeah.
guys.
Love ya.
Bye bye.
Big